Do you listen to things that are different than other kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of times, because since my life is devoted to music, I have a lot of different musical tastes than a lot of people. I like to listen to the melody, the harmonies. I don't like as much the beat, the hard rock where it's literally beat plus music. I like music where it's melody and harmonies plus rhythm.
Okay. Are there things about music that you know that would make you think things with a beat, like really big beats and stuff like that, are bad? Like, is there any proof?
I know that there are certain beats that have been scientifically proven unhealthy. University of San Francisco, I think, did a study where they had 3 different test groups of mice. One test group listened to nothing. One test group listened to rock and heavy metal music. And the other group listened to very organized classical waltzes and minuets.
Like Bach and Beethoven.
Yeah, stuff like that. Well, after these rats had been listening to this music for some time, they had them run a maze. And the normal rats, the rats that hadn't been listening to anything, they had about an average time of getting through the maze. The rock rats, I guess we'll call them, they were the slowest time. And the classical rats, they were the fastest. They got through there in a faster speed. Now, the scientists that did this, they were amazed. So they kept the rats in their cages just listening to the same music for probably about 3 weeks. And then they had them run the maze again. The classical rats had an even faster time. The normal rats were about the same. And the rock rats were even slower than their previous time. The scientists were so shocked that they biopsied the rock mice to figure out why they were all of a sudden so slow. And they found that the beats that they had been listening to had caused the section of their brain that is responsible for memory and order to grow a tumor. Because the rock music is so disorderly and unhealthy, they actually grew a tumor on the back of their brain.
That's amazing. That's an amazing study. So you actually really have a vested interest in what you're going to put in your head, right? Mm-hmm. And in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you actually have a standard for kind of yourself, that you even believe in the standard for personal reasons.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't want a brain tumor.
Me either.
Okay. One last question. We could talk about this for a long time, but one last question that I think has to do with a lot of teens these days. Technology, okay? Cell phones, iPods and things in their ears, little buds everywhere. I've even seen clothing, that has buds hooked onto it. They're just everywhere, right? And so cell phones and stuff like that. Have you ever wanted to have your own cell phone?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay. That's honest, right?
I really would only use it for, contacting you, if I was away or got lost or, something like that. I wouldn't, download apps or whatever and, play games in secret or whatever.
Okay, and it's like texting and stuff. Do you think those things, in our family standard, kind of our family standard ruling on those is what?
You don't get them till you're 16, or you can afford to pay for them yourself.
Well, kind of.
Or until your parents feel that you're responsible enough to take care of it.
That's the ticket, right? Right there.
Yeah.
That you have to have enough, self-government, right? Mm-hmm. So, do you think they actually do damage people?
Oh yeah, they're a major source of addiction. Once you get used to a lot of music all the time, I know people who physically cannot go to sleep unless they have their iPod in their ear. It is physically impossible for them to go to sleep.
Addiction. That's a major thing. That's major. Do you think they could be distracting at all?
Oh, yeah. They totally distance you from reality. They put you in your own little virtual world, and you lose touch with everything else.
So do you have any closing remarks that you might want to share about family standards, or just standards in general, and what you think that other families or youth in the world might want to know about them?
Standards aren't restrictions. They're
armor.
They're like life preservers. They may seem cumbersome at the time, but when it really counts and your life is on the line, that's what keeps you alive, is the standard.
And more likely than not, your whole family will be doing it, and not just you. You're not going to be the one singling out, oh, I have to follow this, and no one else is going to. Your whole family is going to more than likely be doing it with you. Don't feel like, oh, why am I stuck with